Don't you love the band? Fabulous. The Moonlighters Orchestra. Good evening. My name is Angela Hampton. I'm with ABC 11, and I am here to welcome you to the 50th anniversary celebration for the Cary Chamber of Commerce. How awesome is that? 50 years. Exactly. We have a fabulous show for you tonight. And I know that because over the past 24 hours, I've been through 5 or 6 rehearsals, and I think the last time we got it down. So it's going to be great. You'll love it, I promise. Lots of fun, lots of surprises, and a great trip down memory lane. So it's going to be fantastic. We're so glad you're here to celebrate and share with us tonight. I've actually been sent out here to warm you up, to get you warmed up before the big show. And for those of you who don't know, I happen to be married to Howard Johnson's nephew, so it's kind of hard for me to say no to this. But no, I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to see you all. and to get you warmed up, I need a little audience participation here. So you ready for this? All right, if you live in Cary, I need you to stand up right now. If you live in Cary, stand up. Give yourselves a round of applause. Exactly. All right, keep standing, keep standing. Okay, now listen closely. If you have lived in Cary 30 or more years, sit down. Oh, it gets interesting, yes. 30 or more years, sit. Okay, all right. How about 20 or more years? If you've lived in Cary 20 or more years, take your seat. Okay. How about 10 or more years? A few more sitting down. Okay, now it gets interesting. We have lots of, I won't say old-timers, I'll say long-termers in the audience who've taken their seats. How about who's lived here more than 5 years? More than 5 years. Still have a few. More than 4 years?
These guys are
wow. More than 3 years? More than 2 years? More than 1 year? You guys, how about you right here? How about 6 months? Who's lived here more than 6 months? Do you live here? But not quite 6 months? How about you guys? 1 month? All right, I'm sorry, you gotta sit. You guys come up here. Yeah. And of course you got a whole slew of people on the other side you gotta climb over, but you gotta come up here. This is awesome. Just 1 month, you guys, and you've come to 1 year. 1 year. Oh, I misunderstood. I'm sorry. Well, then you have to go. I'm sorry, and the people in their row hate me right now because they're having to get up and get down and get up and get up. You then, come up. Less than 6 months? Yeah, you thought you were off the hook. You're not. Come on up. No, this is awesome, and I think it goes to show the folks who've lived here a long, long time love it. And the newcomers that are still pouring into the area, oh, you're in for a treat tonight. You are. And tell me your name. Judy. And just here under 6 months, where'd you move from?
From the Chicago area.
And what brought you here? Yeah, exactly.
Where's that gentleman right there?
This gentleman, right? Awesome.
Actually for a job.
Very good. Well, we're delighted to have you. And we know this evening that you are going to learn so much about the history of Cary and the businesses in this community, the rich and lush cultural community that is here. And you're either going to say, hey, I have just made the most wonderful decision in my life by moving here, or I've made the biggest mistake of my life, and lush is going to take on a whole new meaning for you. No, I'm teasing. We have a little something for you for being the newcomer here tonight. This is just what everybody needs. Let's see if I can get this right. And if you can see it this way, maybe. Okay, so it says, if you're lucky enough to live in Cary, you're lucky enough, and that is yours.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy the evening, and we won't embarrass you anymore, I promise. Very good. She's a good sport. All right, well, do you feel like you're warmed up enough now? We ready for the main event? Okay, very good. Well, without further ado then, it is my pleasure to welcome to the stage your maestro, your concierge for the evening, a gentleman that we all know and love, and I'm not just saying that because I'm related. It's a gentleman who perhaps we didn't know had a secret yearning to be in the limelight and up here on stage and even here at his own desk on television. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Howard Johnson.
Thank you,
Hi, Howard.
Angela.
What you
Thank
got?
you.
What you
And,
have
well,
here?
I was told I needed to give a forecast for the evening.
The forecast for the
forecast for the evening.
For the evening.
Mine, not to reason why, but there is a depression off the coast of here. It's kind of got all
Howard.
the weather guys messed up. So
It certainly
yeah,
does. That
so,
Alberto. I think
yeah.
half our weather crew from ABC 11 is down
That's
there.
where they
you know.
are. Okay, well.
And we know you mean well with
Yeah.
this. We do, and we appreciate the thought of giving the forecast. But when it comes to weather, we count on Chris Homan to
okay.
do that.
Well, I can
okay.
thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You could give the forecast for the evening, or maybe better yet, why don't you just get the main event
All right,
started
let's
here?
do
How about that?
Thank
I'll
you,
take care
Angela.
of this. Absolutely.
Let's give Angela a round of applause. Thank you, Angela. She was a great addition to the family. Thank you, Angela. Live from downtown Cary, the 50th anniversary of the Cary Chamber. Thank you all for being here. You're in for a fun evening. We've got great surprises. We're going to do a little business. We're going to tell a few jokes, and I guarantee you that I'll have you home by Dancing with the Stars. I think that's the last episode tonight, and Ralph and Daphne have told me they needed to be there, so we'll do that. So, but first, my role is to welcome the band flown in from Deborah Drive, right here in Cary, the Moonlighters. Oh, great, guys. Thank you. What a wonderful band. Well, we hope you enjoyed the reception. Great food. Maybe met an old friend or maybe met a new friend. Hope you got the telephone number there that you can take home later. But you're in for a real treat and a real surprise. And with no further ado, it's my privilege. Phew, tongue twisted there. You can understand that after tonight. But our host, the one and only, and I tell you, there's only one of them. Steve Zaytoon, gentlemen, our host.
Good job. Hey,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
evening, everybody. How are you tonight? How are you? Thank you for that applause, as short as it was. Hey, how about our band, Howard?
Oh, yeah.
The
Great
Moonlighters.
job.
Terry,
Terry, thank you.
I've got a good friend up here. I'd like Sam Socks. Don't stand up, Sam. His birthday's tomorrow. He'll be 79. And my own band director, Cary High School, Jimmy Scooby-Doo Burns. Hey, Howard, you're looking good tonight.
Oh, thanks.
You're looking
Likewise.
really
You're
good.
real
Like
good.
the look. You're looking really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
But I got to tell
50th.
you, folks, Howard's had a tough childhood. Had a real tough childhood.
How tough was it?
It was so tough that the poor fella grew up in a family so large he didn't get to sleep alone until he got married.
It was tough.
Man, I'm just a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You guys out there, you ever bought a new shirt? God, and you just get mad as fire that they don't take out all the pins. God.
Yeah.
God. Woo. Man, that's been bugging me all day. Oh, hey,
I
question.
hate it when that happens.
Any Secret Service out there?
Oh,
Any Secret Service? Because we have a woman here from Columbia tonight. My mother from Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Good job, Mom. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Howard, can you believe the chamber is 50 years
50.
old? You've been here 26
That's
of those
correct.
years. It's fabulous. And I got to tell you, how about this facility, ladies and gentlemen, this art center that the town has rehabbed?
yes.
Some of you, I'm sure, have went to school here and you're reminiscing about what it would look like, but I'm telling you, our town has done a fabulous job rehabbing this building, and I want to thank our town council and the powers to be for revitalizing our downtown.
Let's give him a
Thank
round of applause. Thank you. Excellent.
I don't see him out there, Howard. Is Tommy Lasorda coming tonight?
No, we're waiting for the annual banquet.
Okay,
He's
okay,
been
all right.
the last 20
Hey.
years on the way.
I know y'all are all worried. I introduced my mom, but my parents are here tonight. They're 92 years old, and I know you're worried about what I might say that would offend them, but I'm going to tell you, they don't care. Well, you know why? They can't hear. Well, I guess that's enough humor, Howard. Let's get on with the
Steve,
50th
thank you. Very
anniversary
good.
celebration.
Thank you.
What's next?
Steve, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We have several different divisions, and we'll start with our gold sponsors tonight, Rex Healthcare and Wake Med Cary Hospital. Let's give them a round of applause. They're our gold sponsors. Gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors, Ashworth Drugs, Atlantic Tire and Service, BB&T, GH Jordan Development Company, Progress Energy, SAS, and Siemens. Let's give them a round of applause. Wonderful, wonderful companies. The bronze sponsors are Cadius, Burns & Bottom, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Diversified Planning, Jim White CPA, Sally Cox, State Farm, Trisure, and Womble Carlisle. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good job.
Wonderful chamber sponsors for our 50th anniversary. Founders, Wayne and Kelly Cobb, Michael and Paula Greenspan, Stu and Kathy Miller, Mulkey Engineering, Patriot State Bank, Blake and Becca Smith, and Westbrook and Associates. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. All this production tonight, we've had a great team here, Alan and his group, Creative Visions. Let's give them a round of applause for what they've done. Our video is Back Home Productions. Let's give them a round of applause. Steve, evening sponsors, Brentwood Carpets, Alfred Williams and Company, and Spirits and Daniels Restaurant, the food that you enjoyed. Steve, thank you. Let's
Great
give them
job,
all
Howard. Great job. Thank you.
wonderful sponsors.
Howard, that's very nice you introduce all those, but I think that inspires me to recognize a few others in our audience tonight. And I want to call the roll of our eminent guest tonight, and with that, helping me with that is my good friend, Tom Jordan. Tom, come on up.
Tom.
Good evening. For the roll call tonight, as I call your name, stay seated, please. John, Lynn, Denny, Barry, DJ, Susan, Joe, Jill, Frank, Mary, Art, and who? 75, now 10, now 15, now 20,
Hey,
now 25.
Tom,
What?
it's not auction. Names, buddy, not numbers.
This
names.
is not an auction?
Names.
Oh,
names.
God, I'm sorry, Steve. I apologize. Helen, John, Mike, Linda, Rod, Barry, Carrie, Steve, and Joe, and Mark, and Linda, and Colin. And that's the roll call for the night. Thank you.
Tom.
Tom,
Thank you, Tom.
Good job. Good call.
Whoa, whew. Yeah, we're moving right along here. And hey, thank you, Tom, for that. I'll show you. Did we miss anybody? Did we catch everybody?
Hey, you didn't get my name.
Who? What?
You
What,
didn't
you have
call
something
my
to say,
name.
sir?
I've been here 55 years. You didn't call my
Well,
name. You
well,
didn't
come
get my
on up
name.
here. Let's fix this up. Come on up here
you
right
serious?
now. Come on up here. How you doing, Dick? Have a seat, buddy. Come on over here, dude. You old timers, always interrupting
Look good,
everybody.
guys. Look good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Miller and Dick Ladd with
Yeah,
us
let's give them a
tonight.
round of applause, guys.
You know, you guys have been so good to our town and instrumental in a lot of things that the Chamber's done through our history. And Dick, let me start with you. And a lot of things have come out of the Chamber. One of them big is the Cary Visual Art. Can you give us a little bit of background on how you got involved with that and what's going on with that today?
I'd be happy to. There was about 10 couples, maybe 15 years ago, that wanted to see us call something other than the gourd capital of the world. And so we decided that if we started something in the art business, that it would create our...
You're talking about visual art. Visual art.
Visual art,
Yeah.
yeah, visual art. And so and so
You know my dad?
no.
Steve,
But
go Go ahead, Dick.
So we got together, the 10 couples, 10, that thought about art and that kind of thing. Were you familiar with art? My wife and I have always loved art and go to museums and things like that. But we started this Cary Visual Art thing, and we needed a sponsor, somebody who would take our interests and create it into some economic value. So we became part of the Economic Development Committee. And what you see out there right now is what all the citizens have done, the Cary Visual Art, the town of Cary, and it's been a big asset.
It's been a great asset to our town, and it shows up everywhere. And we just thank you, Dick, for your spearheading that for us and big change.
Let's give it to you.
You did good.
Jerry,
Yes, sir.
you have touched a lot of lives and a lot of artists, and I just wanted to ask you, could you just give us a little quick history of how Lazy Days got started?
I'm glad you asked.
Well, thank you.
Lazy Days started when I came to Cary about 55 years ago. I started drawing all these old historical houses all over town with the encouragement of R.O. Heater. He's always on me about doing something for Cary. So I started drawing all these little pen and ink drawings.
How'd you end up selling those drawings?
Well, we had a Cary Centennial, and I put them in the Centennial store for 25 cents a copy. And I wasn't making any money, so I raised it to 50 cents a copy. And we finally got it up to $1 a buck a print, but now it's selling for a little more than that. And I'll tell you something about this guy here, Dick Land was talking about. He and his wife always loved art.
Well, before you
story.
leave that, I wanted to let me keep you focused on how Lazy Days got started.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Lazy Days started.
How long were you in the reception?
Lazy Days got started when I created enough artwork. And I had been going to arts and crafts shows all over the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, Virginia, for about 10 years. And I thought it was time for Cary to have its own festival.
How big was the first one, Jerry?
The first one had 100 vendors.
And what year was that?
That was 1975.
And you know what else happened that year?
A lot of things happened.
I graduated Cary High School.
I saw that on the news one night.
How about that? Go ahead. Let's stay focused.
Best 6 years of your life, Steve.
But anyway, so we developed this Lazy Days Arts and Crafts Festival. It started off with 100 vendors, and I had to beg 100 to come to Cary. Most of them never heard of Cary, and they did not want to go to a new little community to start. But I begged them and promised them they come to Cary with all the people and moving in from all over the United States that all needed something for their walls.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Fast forward to this summer. How many artisans will you have this summer?
This year we'll have over 350.
Wow.
And that's all we can handle.
That's fabulous.
It's completely full. We send out applications. We get probably 900 applicants to come in to Cary Lazy Days, and we can only take 350.
That's pure economic development, Jerry.
That
Thank
is
you. That's
economic.
perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dick, let me just ask you before we end this segment. Tell me when you talk to folks about living in Cary and being from Cary, tell me how that makes you feel.
To tell you the truth,
I hope you will. Tell me, Dick.
I just tell people how proud I am to be from Cary, and because I've been here since 1960. So I've seen business change. I've seen people come in. As a matter of fact, I say this a little while ago. I was coming out of the school at one of your rehearsals, and there was a crowd of people there, and what crowd means about 6 or 7 people. and one was a resident, and then he had his relatives, and so he was pointing down Academy Street and said, "This is where they have." I think they call it Lazy Days, and there are thousands and thousands of people that come to the Lazy Days, and they come from all over the world to see the art in Cary.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, Dick.
Guys, thank you very much.
I guess Dick's ready to go. What do you think? Jerry?
Is that it?
Thank you. That's it.
I wasn't through.
Thank you very much.
I love you.
That was great.
be sweeter than my sweetie when I meet her in the morning, where the morning glories twine around the door, whispering pretty stories. I long to hear once more. Strolling with my girlie where the dew is pearly early in the morning. Butterflies all flutter up and kiss each little buttercup at dawn. If I had Aladdin's lamp for only a day, I'd make a wish, and here's what I'd say. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Where the morning glories twine around the door, whispering pretty stories I long to hear once more. Strolling with my girlie where the dew is pearly early in the morning. Butterflies all flutter up and kiss his little buttercup at dawn. If I had Aladdin's lamp for only a day, I'd make a wish, and here's what I'd say. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the AM. Carolina in the morning.
Steve,
What?
Steve.
What, Howard?
Steve.
What? Howard. Oh, I just had the most amazing,
Oh, well, you
amazing
should.
dream.
You were snoring.
And you were in there, and you were in it, and you were in it, and you were in it, and you were in there, and you were in there. You were in there. Thank you for being in my dream. Coca Booth, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a wave, Coke. Give him a wave. Thank you, buddy. I love you. Woo. Woo.
Yeah, Steve, well, great job. Steve, while you pull yourself together, I'd like to take a few moments to talk about two very important aspects of our chamber and the community that helped us carry on. Get it? Carry on, Steve? See?
Yeah, I get it.
This is symbolized by two
Don't
words.
give up your day job, Howard.
Two words, leadership and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, on the wall here are the 50 past chairs and chairs of our chamber. Represented tonight are 35 in the audience. I'm going to ask, please, as a past chair or a present chair, if you would please stand and let us give you a round of applause for what you've done for our community. Let's get the lights up on that, please. All right, guys, the lights came up. Please stand one more time. I want everyone, please, chairs, thank you. Wonderful. We've had some good times together. The second word is partnership. I chose a picture that was shown on the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce magazine in 1994, From Bedrooms to Boardrooms. And at that time, we were transitioning from a residential community to a community that now has wonderful local and international companies that call Cary home. Now, Ben Shiver here on the front row and the mayor here, we could stand together because the partnership continues today. So let's give the town of Cary a wonderful round of applause. The last group is, I'm very pleased and honored to work with an outstanding professional group of the staff of the chamber. Guys, you're scattered throughout. Please stand and let the audience give you a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you all. They'll be glad when I get out of the office a couple of days, Steve. But You've got it. Go.
Howard, that really carried me
Me
back.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
But I've got a few moments of my own, of hysterical moments I'd like to
Whoa.
remember.
Historical
No,
moments.
no, Howard, let's let them decide.
All right, let's see
Hysterical
what you
moments.
got there, bud.
I have with me, ladies and gentlemen, the top 10 hysterical moments in the history of the Cary Chamber of Commerce. Number 1, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Bob Scott declares the top hat, the official hat of the Cary Chamber of Commerce. No, Gary, that hat is plastic. Won't work. Actually, Rogain's not working here, folks. Okay. Geez, the Coneheads announced their new headquarters. And how about that hat? No, that ain't gonna work.
Oh.
Now wait a minute, Rogain's working here. You think?
Change the slide. Change.
And there's the Cary Chamber O'Shaughnessy boys at work. Now we're talking about official hats. Thank you, John.
Looks good in there.
Of course, the Ashworths had to get in on that. Can't have Ashworth without a hat. Of course, here's the chamber official sunglasses. Of course, we always love With. He always kept an eye out for you. Nana, please.
Nana, please.
Poor Howard, budget's tight. He had to wash his own
I
windows.
did it.
Of course, all rumors are true. The paper, truth at the top. Next. Of course, if Ralph's telling it, it's got to be true. And then you got Coca. He's got to be telling it. It's true. Right now, folks, we're about midway through our presentation. I think that's where the plane ran out of gas, and that's where it sat. Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Glad they're with us tonight. Hey, ain't enough beer for Tony and my dad, is it? How about you, Joe? You get one. There you go. Joe got him one. Thank you, Pop. Of course, we got to have a skate rink in Cary, but before we had a skate rink, we always did the hokey pokey in the parking lot. Uh-oh. Pond scum. Yep, John. Pond scum. Sorry. And there you go, Tim and Carl and Chuck leading the protests out of town hall after Glenn Lane called them pond scum. Oh yeah, can't forget, let everybody know what the truth is. Well, obviously, this fella here cannot read his cue cards.
Stop. Stop.
That's next week's show, sorry. Okay, of course, Howard's been celebrating so many years, he's had to have his suits dry cleaned and altered over the past 26 years. What size are you now, Howard? 48 regular?
Yep.
Yes, there will be no FedEx in Cary. Hey, that's my doctors up there. How'd they get up there? Brown and Watkins. Thank you, boys. Actually, this photo here, Bob and Howard are actually lying down and the car is level.
We had, Bob, we had hair back then.
But we wanted to, the first car raffle was truly memorable.
Yeah.
And of course, here we go, future town council members at their training session. And that's
Steve,
all,
great
folks.
job, great job.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now want to introduce our next guest. Unfortunately, Ann could not be with us tonight, but she did arrange for another SAS employee to come in her place. So some of you might know him personally, some of you may have never met him, and we're lucky to have a privilege and a treat tonight to meet Dr. John Saul.
Let's give it up, John.
Hey, John. John, how are you tonight?
Great. I guess I forgot to wear green. Well,
That's
orange will
okay.
probably work.
That's all right. I'm sure you've got some green somewhere.
Yeah.
John and I have met a couple times this week, and John, we're going to just go through a couple questions with you, and we'd like to just hear a little bit about Tell us what SAS Institute does.
Well, SAS stands for Statistical Analysis System, and you can't pronounce it. No one can pronounce statistics, so now we call it business analytics. And
Some of us can't pronounce that either.
Yeah. So we went from a word that no one can pronounce, statistics, to a word that no one can abbreviate, analytics. So.
That's a good job. I like
First
that.
slide, please. We've got a slide coming up, John, I believe. Nope, it's not that one.
Yeah, I did bring some pictures.
Okay, we've got some photos, and
There you go. There we go.
here we go. Here you go. Go, John.
So the history, we go way back. This is Gertrude Cox on the camel, and she rode into town in Raleigh, not on a camel, on a train. And she started the first statistics department in the nation in 1941 at NC State. And she trained a whole generation of agronomists and so on to learn statistics to help grow their crops better and improve their yields and so on. And she also started the statistics department at UNC and at RTI and even in University of Cairo. And this is her visiting Cairo as part of the Ford Foundation grant to improve agriculture in Cairo, led by Cairo University.
Isn't that a statue of Jim Goodnight on the left over there?
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Then SAS became a private company, John. Tell us about that.
Well, first, we first had to get good at computing, because that's what we did when we did statistics. So Gertrude hired a bunch of computers, which are people running calculators. The next photo shows an early computer. And back then, computers, statistics is what was the important thing to do on computers. And of course, now, well, you can read that.
How do you tweet from that thing, John?
This is a while ago.
Okay.
So now, of course, the highest and best use of computers is to fling angry birds to kill pigs and so on. But back then, the important thing was to do statistical analysis. And so we got good at statistical computing. And the next slide shows Cox Hall, named after Gertrude Cox. And that's where our project got started with the original founders, Jim Barr and Jim Goodnight. And I joined in '74. And then we...
You moved to Cary.
Not quite
Not quite yet?
No,
Okay.
no. But we started releasing the software to agricultural experiment stations all across the South, from Maryland to Kansas, if you count that the South. And the next slide shows that we decided to move across the street. We got a separation agreement. You know, the software business is not the same as the teaching business, so we moved across the street in 1976. From Cox Hall across Hillsborough Street to this building, Carter Williams Architects, and moved in there. Well, we couldn't afford the front building, so we moved into the back building, and that's where SAS Institute got its start.
Great.
Good, great.
All right, and then you moved to Cary.
And, well, if the next slide says so, well, this is our founding group, and it's
good.
just the 4 founders plus Ann Goodnight, but she didn't call herself Ann Goodnight, she called herself Ann Baggett, because she didn't want people to think it was a mom and pop operation with
gotcha.
Jim and Ann Goodnight.
Gotcha.
But she was she did publication sales. And then it started getting crowded. We started selling to more and more people and started hiring, and we ran out of space. And we were loaded with so many books, we thought the floor would fall in from all the books. They were even in the bathroom, and we needed more space. So.
And then you moved to Cary.
Yeah, next slide. Then we had to make some calculations.
Okay.
So it turns out that the third of us, including one of our founders, Jane Helwig, lived in Chapel Hill and Durham, and 2/3 of us lived in Raleigh. So by a simple calculation, we checked out
John,
what was
ain't nothing simple as that.
1/3 the distance from Raleigh to Chapel Hill. And so Jane Helwig scouted out property around there and found this landmark office park right off I-40 where SAS is now. And we invested in there. And I think the next slide is where we built the building. That was our first building, Buildings A, and then we built A, B, C, and D, and then we tore them all down, built some others. And of course, campus has grown ever since. I think the next slide shows us moving our first computer in. And the next slide shows...
That's a computer on that forklift?
Yeah, they were big back then.
So, John,
We kind of look kind of scruffy, you know, beards and long hair
John,
and
when
everything.
did you feel like you made it, the big time?
Our first national press was in the New York Times, and you know, we thought we'd make press for doing all this statistical work and everything, but you know, agriculture and drug companies and so on. But that's not where it came. And I think the next slide shows, well, that shows our campus where we grew. The next slide shows this made the national press. A study of how you win Miss America pageants. And it was the first employment of decision trees. This is back in 1979, and it basically had the instruction book for how to become a Miss America or improve the probabilities. And so SAS was first mentioned in national press back then. So.
It's good.
So we were famous then, right?
Great.
If you were careful to read the New York Times. And
So-
then we
Next.
got more famous.
All right.
Land's End. Good.
Land's End came, you know, we started ordering logo stuff from Land's End, and we got it in their catalog, and we became models for Land's End catalog with the SAS Institute logo on it. This isn't the real cover, this is a fake one. So, but it illustrates some of the things that were on our real cover, you know, with introducing SAS and so on. We had ads that had things on people's foreheads, so that I
All right.
And then we got real famous. Fast Company did a profile on us, and we were the Sanity Incorporated. You know, we were the company that had the supportive environment, and you know, Cary. There was nothing around us in Cary, so we had to do our own daycare center and our own food and everything. And then suddenly it started making sense to have everything around campus to do, and so we got featured. And the other company, I think, went bankrupt, so even though they got a lot more votes for having all their people gamble away fortunes in Las Vegas.
And that works for SAS. I mean, that's
So-
real for y'all, isn't it?
Yeah, it talked about the 35-hour work week, and you know, my daughter went to work at SAS a couple years ago, and I asked, she said, this 35-hour work week, it's really something. I work 35 hours and the days of the work week, and then there's the other 35 hours at nights and weekends, and they didn't tell me about that.
Oh,
So some
y'all think
departments
about that, Howard.
Yeah, that's
work
good.
pretty
I like
hard
that.
there.
Hey, but SAS
and-
doesn't in Cary, is it? It's all over the place.
Yeah, well, first we got to
Oh, got one more
see-
slide here. Oh, yeah.
we got
60
on
Minutes
60.
shows up.
Yeah, and Jim Goodnight was there being interviewed by Morley Safer. And then I think the next slide is we got featured in Fortune for all these best places to work.
Correct.
And when this started coming out with 60 Minutes and Fortune and everything, we just got resumes from all over the country. You know, everybody in the country wanted to go to a company that had a good daycare center.
You still have mine on
So,
file,
yes.
don't you?
John, how many on campus
Yeah.
now? How many employees on?
There's about close to 5,000 in Cary, and another 7,500 around the rest of the world. So,
Right. And we got some photos of your other headquarters.
yeah. Now in Cary, you know, there was nothing here, so we had to build our own buildings. But in the rest of the world, in the European centers, they like to buy these old buildings and kind of, you know, the fixer-uppers and everything. And so we got these
Fixer-uppers, they're good.
fixer-uppers.
They're beautiful.
in the Whittington House, there's
Obviously,
that's
those
in
town
France,
councils
and there's Cafe
pretty liberal
or
over there.
Castel Robiano in near Brussels, and
Beautiful.
there's a place in
Absolutely
Sweden
beautiful.
called Stora Frösunda. There's books written about these places.
And SAS has invested in other stuff besides the other parts of Cary, correct?
Yeah, we kind of got involved when we bought our lot from Tim Smith and his partner then. They came back later and said, you know, we have a deal for you. And so we got involved in lots and lots of deals from then on. I think the next picture tells the story of I went to this function at Ruth Chris Steakhouse back when it was on Buckhouse Road, and I thought it was a nice function. I saw Tim Smith, so I went up and talked to him, and Tim and Bubba, and Tim said, "How do you like this place?" And I said, "Oh, it seems like a pretty neat place." And Tim said, "You don't really know, do you? You and Jim own this place." So Tim was always buying and selling places, the fast nickel instead of the slow
dime, yep.
But I found out about a lot of the stuff that he bought for us.
Well, John, one
as
last question
investments.
for you, for our audience. What's next?
Well, I thought about that, and I had a list of all the things we've done, and it's hard to think of what's next. Let's see, we're in software, real estate development, TV studio, a computer games company, a school assessment, an airline. Thank you for featuring that. That regional airline concept really worked out well. The definition of a regional airline, it gets you halfway to anywhere.
Anywhere.
And that's why they named it that, I think.
The midway.
Yeah. So.
Jim, who?
And scenic studio and a country club and a hotel and a spa and some restaurants and a shopping center and a solar farm. And we even got, at times, we raised cattle and sheep and donkeys and stuff. So the next big thing is cloud computing. And so we have this cloud computing center underground. We put our clouds underground. Yes.
Well, I tell you.
And no one can see it. So let me tell you that we like it here. When we first moved here, our first set up SAS here, the deal was, we didn't know what the deal was. Cary was supposed to be a place where you lived, not where you worked. And when we moved here, we didn't know that. So we were ignorant. And so we thought it was a place where you worked and not where you lived. We got it all backwards. And but we became a pioneer of making Cary a place where you work.
Well,
and
you just
so,
have no idea how
yeah, and
happy
then we moved
are.
here too. And,
You did move
yes.
here. And I've just got
And-
one last question. When you and your partner are on the phone and you get ready to hang up at night, do you say, "Good night, Jim," or "Jim, good night"?
No,
John, let's
but
thank
it's-
John.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, our company has grown up in Cary, and we're very proud to be a.
Well, we're proud to have you here. There's
so.
no question about it. John Saul,
thank you,
ladies and
thank you,
gentlemen,
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you so much. You don't know how much it meant to me for you to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
That's great, Steve. Thank you.
Wow, how about that, folks? You know what? It's only going to get better. Our next guest. This chamber doesn't just bring great businesses to Cary, it brings great people. And I'd like to introduce to you a young man who happens to be one of those great people that his business brought him here 18 years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to bring out Colonel Hal Shook, United States Air Force retired. Thank you, Colonel. Come on over here. You're so kind to me. Look at you standing up. Colonel, while we're here, if you've served in our military, past or present, Dad, Civil War, all the way forward, if you've served, please stand and let us recognize you.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Colonel, come on over here and sit down. I got a few questions for you.
Let's go, buddy. Sit right here?
You come right here.
Okay.
Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Tell us just real quickly how you ended up here in Cary.
Well, one of my sons, Mike, was working in the private sector, and he got so turned off by the politics, he elected to come down here and start a new business, Research Triangle Park. That's what he did. Gave me a call and they said, hey, Dad, come on down. Gave us team building and strategic planning. That's what we did.
Strategic Technologies.
That's exactly, and as a consequence, why he's been here since '78. I've been here for 18 years, and I love the place. It is first class in every respect.
And you've got your wife here with you tonight. She's joined us. We're glad she's with us.
Well, we only been together a short time, like about 40 years, yeah.
Oh, good.
Colonel, you are an author, I believe, and you've written some great books. Tell us a little bit about your writing.
Well, I've written 3 books. Each one is different. When you start digging into the deep part of it, you find what it's really all about. I've got what I'm all about is making doggone sure that everybody is happy, everybody is learning and growing all the way. And that's a part of these books. And one of the things that I've held as a philosophy, if you take care of your people, they'll take care of you. And I've got a little quick 3-way bit to make that happen, and it happens every time. Number 1, treat your people with dignity and respect. Number 2, build a team, harmony all the way, everybody helping everybody else. And number 3, under the umbrella of caring leadership. You do those 3 things, you're going to win every time, and it's completely opposite from these guys that come down and say, bam, I'm the boss, don't forget it. It does not work.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Colonel, take us back to June 6th, 1944. You're in your P-47 Thunderbolt, backing our troops as they landed on Omaha Beach. Tell us what was going on that day.
3 things, really. The first thing, our job was to keep the Luftwaffe off of the ground forces at all costs. If you get in a fight, you stay to the bloody end. If you run out of fuel, you plunk it down the channel. If you run out of ammunition, ram them. And I'm covering the beach, covering Omaha Beach, and I looked down, and the clouds broke a bit, were on top, and I could see 7,000 vessels down there. Paddle-shipping cruisers right underneath me, just having at it like that.
7,000 ships.
7,000 vessels, exactly. And I said, holy smoke. And then I've never seen it like that. But the thing that really got to me, I looked down and I knew that a lot of guys, gutsy guys, have lost their lives right here. And in the first few days, we lost a couple thousand. And that's the cost of freedom, unfortunately.
And while we're talking about that freedom, Colonel, you were awarded by the French their highest honor. And during a ceremony on June the 6th, 1999, you were honored with that award. Tell me about that.
That was a beautiful time, and I felt deeply honored. In fact, I couldn't believe that it was happening, and I thought, my gosh, why me? Because there's so many guys who are involved in saving the French.
I want to read a letter, with your permission. I'd like to read a letter to the audience that was written to you that day.
Yeah, please do.
Dear Colonel Shook, if the Americans, this is translated from French, if the Americans were not come in 1944 for liberating a land and people they did not know, I don't certainly be here, like many people. I owe you my liberty, and I take a pride to meet you, for to tell you all my gratitude for freedom that men like you and the sacrifice of those who did not return home have given back to us. Thank you, Colonel Shook. God bless America, and God bless you. And this was written by a French couple as they laid a wreath at the National Cemetery on Omaha Beach on June the 6th, 1999. Colonel, absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Colonel, I got to ask you one more question.
Yeah, shoot.
You're 93 years old. what in the world are you doing jumping out of airplanes?
That's great sport. I tell you, I've been wanting to jump for years and years and years, but I never got the right combination, and I never got. Every time I got shot up, I was always able to get the bird back on the ground. But now here's a golden opportunity. Happened in March of this year. Said, hey, by golly, if you want to jump with a guy who's only had a couple jumps like 9,300.
And it's the guy that jumped with President Bush, correct?
Exactly right. His papa.
Papa Bush.
Yeah, Papa Bush. And it was a joy. It took a long time to climb that old bird up to 12, 13,000 feet. And I was in that bird with about 6 other guys, one of them a pilot, and then all of a sudden we got up there, the door opened, and a couple of guys jumped out, and now it's our turn. So we dove off, and I'm sitting in this guy, Elliot's, sitting right in his lap, and we just dove off like this, head first, and if you can picture yourself lying at the beach, on the sand, right down, you're flat like this. That's exactly where we were. And my gosh, he said, hey, put your arms out. And it was just flat like this.
Gosh. There he is, guys. Look at this.
Colonel, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you with us tonight, and an honor and a privilege to have you in our community and as a Cary town citizen. We appreciate you very, very much. And thank you for your service to our country.
Bless your heart, Steve. Thank you. Privileged to be here.
Great job. Great job.
Have you had enough yet? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Biggest segment of our show coming up, if you can believe it. And we've got a special guest with us tonight to do this segment with us. And I'm very happy to introduce to you our mayor, Harold Weinbrink.
Let's give it up for Harold.
Harold Weinbrink, Mayor.
Mayor. Steve, he's not coming. He's not.
What?
I'm sorry.
What? Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We've got a little surprise, a little snafu here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our crackpot video crew on the scene. Our mayor evidently has been held up attending to some business of our town. We're really, hopefully we can catch up with him while he's extremely busy. Extremely busy.
Oh.
I believe that's Deuce.
Oh, well, there's Harold.
Oh, hello there. I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Very important meeting. Kind of terribly busy. Can I help you?
Mayor, you're supposed to be here with us tonight. Are you coming? Are you on your way? We need you here.
Well, I'm kind of sweating out the details of a very tough diplomatic meeting right now. I really don't think I can be interrupted right now.
But Mayor, all these people are here waiting for you.
Oh, hello. Sorry I can't be with you this evening. It really breaks my heart. Wish I could, but I can't make it.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor.
See you, Harold.
Well, there you go.
See you, Harold.
I don't know what to do. Oh, Harold,
gee,
what is
yeah,
that?
Steve. Hey, there, look.
Oh, Mayor.
Just stand there with him.
Come over here, Mayor, and do a little proclamation for us. Mayor Harold Weinbrink, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
I really love tennis.
I know you do.
But I love the town of Cary even more.
Is that mic hot?
Yeah.
What?
Speak into that microphone, Mayor.
I'm afraid to touch it. I've never seen one of these before. But I can tell you this is one of the special moments for me to be in this spot at this time, recognizing such a great event, not only for the Chamber, but for the town of Cary. And I'm sure all my colleagues on the council feel that way. And we'd like to present a proclamation on behalf of this event. And I'm going to read this. And of course, proclamations have whereases. Recognizing the 50th anniversary of the Cary Chamber of Commerce, whereas a small group of business leaders established the Cary Chamber of Commerce in 1962. Since that time, the Chamber has served as a unified business voice for Cary. Whereas the Chamber provides leadership to support and facilitate a thriving business environment, which is characterized by the strength and the growth of Cary businesses, the quality and stability of Cary's workforce, and the attractiveness of our market to new and expanded businesses. Whereas the Cary Chamber of Commerce and the town of Cary have had a long-standing tradition of partnership for the betterment of the community and the entire Research Triangle region. Whereas the Chamber provides Cary's corporate citizens with opportunities to get involved in the community's economic development, education, and government relations, and promotes partnerships and a positive influence that impacts the quality of life within our community. Now, therefore, I, Harold Weinbrecht Jr., Mayor of the town of Cary, North Carolina, on behalf of the entire Cary Town Council, do hereby recognize the 50th anniversary of the Cary Chamber of Commerce. We thank the Chamber for its leadership, for serving our community and the businesses that call Cary home. Proclaimed this 22nd day of May, 2012.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the 50th or 51st chair, and I'm not sure which, I really want to thank you for this fantastic proclamation. And I also want to thank the mayor for being such a great sport, literally.
It was fun. Two of my favorite things.
I also just want to take just a second and thank the town for partnering with us. The town has been a fantastic partner. They work with us on economic development, they work with us on education, and they work with us on governmental affairs. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to say governmental affairs. Don't we call it something different?
Oh, yeah. Careful.
So thank you again. Please join me. Thank you again.
Thank you, Harold.
Good job. Good.
Thank you very much. Very much.
Carol, thanks.
Whew, golly, I'm having so much fun. And we've had some interesting people up here, Howard.
Yeah, it's been good.
But you know, this is something bigger than the people. You know, every one of us and everyone who came before us,
That's right.
they're part of a beautiful legacy of this community. And this town is made up of some great people, and they have
Sure
great
are.
histories. And when it comes right down to it, it's pretty personal. Let's watch.
great.
How about that?
There's some wonderful companies there.
You know,
Yeah.
watching that video really moves me. Makes me remember how it all began with that small group of our first chamber members.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, there,
there they are.
Application process they went through.
Actually, we've had some issues in Cary, and we just resolved one of them with the chickens, but I guess now the cows want to be heard from
Oh, my
too.
God.
We'll take care of everything for you, sir. Thank you for coming out. 2 cows in every backyard, ladies and gentlemen. Well, and you know, you can't have a chamber without some unique members, and of course, there's always Monkey Joe's.
There
you go.
That's good. That's good.
Well, listen, I'm really moved with our accomplishments and growth, and I tell you what, these next 3 guests span 4 generations, 3 generations.
3. Let's go 3.
20 years combined of being on our board of directors, celebrating their 50th anniversary recently in downtown Cary. Please welcome to the stage Ralph, Paul, and Gary Ashworth.
Yes, sir. Let's give them up here. You got the questions there? Yeah.
Yep. Hello, Steve. Ralph Reno. Come on,
You guys hang.
Gary,
Hey, Steve.
Pablo, good to see you, sir. Have a seat.
You guys look good. Look good, Ralph.
They look great. Hey, I'm just going to say this, get this out of the way. Glad you wore the green. Ralph Ashworth gave me my first job, Cary. 1973, worked that soda fountain for $2 an hour.
He was overpaid.
I can
Okay,
see
Ralph,
that.
thanks for joining us tonight. Let me just ask you this, though, Ralph. You were there the very first chamber meeting. Tell us what that was like.
Well, let me tell you, 50 years ago, Cary was a very sleepy little town. We had 2 drugstores. We had 1 bank, Fidelity Bank. There was not much going on. It was very small downtown. And so, but Mr. R.O. Heater had a grand vision. Mr. Heater had a grand vision that was big enough for all of us. And so he convinced us that we needed a Chamber of Commerce. And so we got together in Jim Adcock's office, Adcock Insurance Agency down the street. And the first year we elected Tom Sechrist as our first chair. The second year was Dr. Ed Davis. The third year was myself. And then Mr. Heater had his shine the 4th year. And the 5th year, Jim Adcock was the chair.
Ralph, what was y'all's main mission?
The main mission was to, as we do today, support Cary, to show Cary in a good light, and to try to build Cary. Cary was only a small town with bedrooms. We only had 1 plant, which was Taylor Biscuit down here. Yeah. And we wanted more, and we wanted more business. So we had the same goals we have today, that we wanted to increase our town activity. Correct. And Mr. Heater was a 1-man Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. He was our driving force. If you want to say somebody was the grandfather or the father of the Chamber of Commerce, it's Mr. R.O. Heater.
Great.
That's good, Ralph.
Paul, Gary, you know, back when we were growing up in high school together, Mayor Coca Booth, one of his main focuses was to make a town where children could grow up, live and work and stay in their community. Tell us about that with your 2 families. Paul?
Well, obviously, it's meant a great deal to me. I've had the opportunity to follow in my father's footsteps in his chosen profession and to run the store that he and my mother have built over their entire adult lives. So it's been a pretty cool thing for me. Not a lot of people get that opportunity, so it's been nice. You know, as for my kids, so far, they've only worked at the drugstore long enough to decide maybe that's not what they want to do. But you know, I'll say this. You know, when I was growing up in Cary, and like my father and a lot of other people have said, Cary was a lot different place. And when I was growing up working at the drugstore, I really never thought of doing anything else. But my kids growing up here, you know, Cary's a lot different. They look around and they see Fortune 500 companies. You just had them on your screen. They see a dynamic work environment. They see highly educated people in town with higher degrees and high salaries. And so why shouldn't they think that the sky's the limit for them?
Gary, tell us about you, Gary. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Carrie's been very good to our family, and the way that Paul and I grew up, we were very involved in the band and very involved in scouting, and we saw the world that way. My kids were very involved in the YMCA, which we did not have when we were growing up. So Carrie's changed with each generation. Now we've got this Carrie Arts Center here for my grandchildren to enjoy. The town that my wife grew up in, if you went to college, you couldn't come back and find a job. So we're blessed that in Cary, you can go away and come back and find a job. My two sons are working in our home art business, so we're very pleased to have that here. And it's nice to have family nearby. It's nice for us to be able to see our grandchildren anytime we want to, and them to see their great-grandfather. And as Colonel Shook talked about, a lot of adults come here and then they have their parents move here. So it's a wonderful place for all ages.
Well, you know, Ralph, I got to tell you, I think I ought to take credit for this, because it could have been the Mitchell family sitting up here, because there was Mitchell's Pharmacy down the street, and Ralph used to send me down there on a sneaky, go down there and tell me how much he's charging for baby powder. And I'd go in there and I'd look and I'd write down, and I'd come back and Ralph would reduce his by a nickel, and sure enough, Ashworks made it. So congratulations, I think I had something to do with that.
That's a cold town.
That's good business. Hey, that's good business right there.
What's up with the bow ties? Tell us, Paul, how about the bow tie?
I'm trying to dress like Paul.
What's funny, it's funny because I actually read a story a number of years ago about a minister in Raleigh who was seen frequently mowing his grass in wingtip shoes and bow ties. And I thought, that guy's my hero.
Oh, that's good.
And, so, you know, I wear bow ties for fun. I ride my bicycle and motorcycle in them, and sometimes I even work in them.
That's good. That's
Well,
cool.
Gary, I just got to ask you a question, because you and I go way back. But Gary is, how should I say it? Gary is a CPA, and he's very, very to the penny on everything. Gary, in your office, if anybody in here has been in Gary's office, how many years back do you have bank statements?
Well, I've been there for 30 years, so I've got 30 years of bank statements. People come to my office for therapy, because when they see my office, it makes them feel very good about their surroundings.
Well, I got to tell you, you guys have been a great asset to our community, and I thank the Lord that y'all are staying and your kids are staying here as well. But let me just, final question for you, Ralph. You're always wanting to give advice. And here you have a captive audience. What are you going to tell us tonight? What advice would you like to give us?
I'd say it's all about attitude, positive attitude. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Work hard to create a success in your business, and then dedicate your life to the success of our community. And if we all work toward this great attitude, then that will give us plenty of opportunity for the generations that come. I say have fun along the way. Don't wait too long to start the bucket list, because life is shorter than you think. And I tell my customers this all the time, retiring is bad for your health. A lot of people die retired.
Hey. Guys, I just got to tell you this. Hey, before y'all leave the stage, I just got to say this. Behind these three men is one awesome woman. Daphne, you stand up. Oh, man. Howard, it's about time for Dancing with the Stars. Come on, sit down.
What time's that, 9?
This has really been a nice evening.
You've done it. Let's give Steve a round of applause,
very much.
guys.
Thank you.
Oh, Lord, this is the first
well,
time
I tell you,
I've sat down
I've
since 3
enjoyed this
o'clock.
immensely. I hope we do it again in 50 more
50
years. I'll be here.
Yep.
And
we could do that.
I know my parents will be here.
Yeah.
Well, they ain't never going to die.
Move! Everybody stay seated. Zaytoon! Steve
What?
Zaytoon! You have done it now!
Chief!
You
Chief
have-
Baseball, ladies and gentlemen. Chief!
No, sir! I need you to turn around! Turn around, sir! No, turn around, sir!
Chief, what's going on?
I need you to turn around.
Chief! What are you doing, Chief? Chief! Chief!
Sir, we have received so many complaints. I need you. You are under arrest
What?
for impersonating
good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in shock.
Okay.
I don't know what just
I'll
happened.
just wear them like this. I'll wear them
But
like this.
you know, Terry, this feels pretty good. I'm glad he's. I've waited all night to get here. But yes, this looks good. This is great. But I've got a friend I think that's in trouble somewhere. But
Just say goodnight, Howard.
Yes.
Just say goodnight, Howard, and call Brent. Call Brent.
Steve, we'll see you in a week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight, celebrating our 50th anniversary. Thanks again to the sponsors. Great foundation here in the chamber. We love you all. Drive safely and good night. Terry, thank you. Thank you very much. That was great. That was perfect. Steve, good job.